You know, have you ever found yourself in a debate, maybe about politics or some social issue,
All the time.
and you look at the other person who you know is a smart, decent person, and you just cannot understand how they see the world so differently?
Right, you walk away thinking they're not just wrong, but maybe they're a bad person.
Exactly. It's that paradox.
And that's the absolute core of the book we're getting into today, Jonathan Haidt's The Righteous Mind. It tries to unpack the psychology behind why good people are so divided.
So where does he even start with that?
He starts by completely flipping our view of human rationality on its head.
Okay.
The big claim is intuitions come first, and our strategic reasoning comes second.
So our gut reaction happens instantly.
Instantly. And to explain it, he uses this brilliant analogy. Think of a tiny rider on a giant elephant.
The rider is our conscious mind, our reason.
Exactly, the little rider.
Yeah.
And the elephant is our intuition, our emotions, our gut. It's massive.
And it's the elephant that's actually choosing where to go.
It's already chosen the path. The rider's just a spokesperson, really skilled at explaining why the elephant decided to go that way, long after the decision was made.
So the rider is basically a press secretary.
A press secretary, not a detective. It's not searching for the truth. It's looking for justifications.
Which, I mean, that explains why just throwing more facts and data at someone almost never changes their mind.
You're talking to the press secretary, but the elephant isn't even listening.
Wow. Okay. So that's one piece. What's the next insight?
Well, the next piece is about what morality even is. He argues that, especially in Western-educated societies, what he calls weird societies.
Right. I've heard that acronym.
Yeah. In those societies, we've kind of narrowed our definition of morality to just two things:
Which are?
care versus harm, and fairness versus cheating.
And he's saying that's incomplete.
Very. It's like trying to understand all of cooking with only the flavors sweet and salty. He says there are actually 6 moral taste receptors.
So what are the other 4?
He adds loyalty versus betrayal, authority versus subversion, sanctity versus degradation,
Okay.
and liberty versus oppression.
And this is where the political divide really shows up, isn't it?
It's the key. The research he presents shows that people who identify as liberal tend to build their moral world primarily on the first 3: care, fairness, and liberty.
And conservatives.
They tend to draw on all 6 foundations more or less evenly. For them, loyalty, authority, and sanctity are just as important as moral considerations.
So when you're arguing about a policy, you might literally be using different moral ingredients.
You're speaking 2 completely different moral languages. One person sees a public health rule as a matter of care, and another sees it as an issue of liberty or authority.
And neither side understands why the other is so immoral.
Exactly. Which brings us to his third and maybe most important principle,
Which is?
that morality both binds us together and blinds us.
Okay, unpack that. Binds and blinds.
The binding part is about how shared values create cohesive groups. Morality is like social glue. He calls it the hive switch.
The hive switch.
Yeah, that moment where our sense of self kind of melts away and we feel part of something larger. It's what allows for incredible cooperation and sacrifice for the group.
That's the binding. So what's the blinding?
Well, the downside is immediate. That same groupishness that creates such powerful loyalty inside the hive.
It makes you hostile to everyone outside it.
It blinds you to their perspective, their humanity. It makes tribal conflict almost inevitable.
So if you put all this together, he's saying that all of us, you listening right now included, we're living inside our own moral matrix.
Yes, a constructed world reinforced by our culture and community that feels like the absolute objective truth.
But it's just one version of the truth.
And the goal of understanding all this isn't necessarily for everyone to agree. It's to become fluent in the moral languages of other matrices.
To see that the other side might be grasping a piece of the moral puzzle that you're missing.
Moral humility, basically.
So here's the thought I want to leave you with today. If facts only talk to the writer, the press secretary, what could you do differently? The next time you're in a difficult conversation, what moral foundation, what intuitive language could you use to speak directly to the elephant?